Intention. Go! Up!
Fighting out of Sacramento, California!
Woo! What you gonna do?
Better. Stronger.
Son of a bitch.
Faster.
Oh, yeah!
But anyway, you know, I'm here with my buddy Brandon. It's World Carnivore Month. This guy's a complete savage. I think we need to commend people like yourself for doing what you did. You came in here at 458 pounds, and I believe you weighed in at what?
347 this morning.
347. So you lost over 100 pounds. Mainly on a carnivore diet, or like, why don't you tell us? Well, let's start here. What advice would you have for somebody that wants to lose 100 pounds? Like, what did you do to get there?
Find someone that cares. Like when I found Charlie Zamora, who used to work here.
Yeah. Caffeine and Kilos also. He's our
Caffeine
boy.
and Kilos.
Yeah. He's the founder.
But when I first started, I was absolutely depressed.
Mm-hmm.
I was the worst I'd ever been. Something crossed our paths, and he asked me how I was doing one day, and I broke. I just completely broke down.
You guys
to him.
been friends for a while, or how did you know him?
So through my company that I work for, he has a contract with that company. And so he was at the gym that my company has, training people. And I've run into him a few times. I've worked with him before, failed before. But this time it was different. I didn't care if I woke up in the morning. It was that bad. And ran into him, and he goes, hey, tell you what, I'm going to give you two options here. Come to my gym on Monday, do the workout, or go do jiu-jitsu. He said, one's free, one you're going to pay for. So I said, I'm there. I'll be there Monday. Packed my gym, packed my bag, went to the gym, came home. I felt great. I finished the workout. I got moving. I lifted, which was a new love for me.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm not making come back tomorrow. It's up to you. Next morning, I found myself packing my bag again, throwing my gym shoes in, the shorts, the shirt, go to work, back there the next day. And it was just one thing after another. I wasn't focused on diet. I was just focused on going to the gym and moving. Mm-hmm. And one thing led to another.
Were you resistant to it at first? Were you like, man, I never did anything? I mean, have you been doing stuff like that your whole life? Have you been inactive, or, you know?
During that time period, I had probably been inactive for about 5 years. Just not moving, rather sit at home, eat pizza, and play video games, and drink on the weekends. Then when I met him, I could tell in his voice that he cared. And even to this day, a year later, I could still sense in his voice and the way that he treats me and the way that you guys treat me that you guys do care.
Yeah.
And as soon as I went there the first day, it was a CrossFit style gym. But the day that I walked in, I immediately felt like I was family. Nobody there made me feel insecure about being there, as some commercial gyms have made me feel in the past. But going there, it was just such a community there that...
And it could be intimidating. Like, Charlie's a good-looking guy in great shape. It's like, you know, it could be intimidating around some of those people, but he never makes it that way. He's the happiest person I know. He's always like almost fired up to a fault. But sometimes you're like, hey, bro, just calm down.
Yeah.
You're too excited. But he's just a wonderful person and a great, like, family guy, too. And I think that's important. Yeah. Like, that family there at that gym is cool.
100%. But I was going there for about a month, and then he said, hey, what are you doing on the weekends? Because I wasn't going on the weekends. I was just focused on Monday through Friday. So one Thursday rolls around, and he goes, hey, I'm going to get you in contact with this guy. His name's Lil Smokey.
Oh, Jesus.
He knows you're coming. Be there Saturday, 10 o'clock. I'm not too accustomed to new things, so I woke up a little bit late, missed my alarm. I texted Charlie, hey, I'm going to be running a little late. Should I still go, or should I just go tomorrow? He goes, still go. Just go. You're there to learn. That's it. So day one, came walking in. Fortunately, he was running behind as well. Worked out with Bill and kind of stayed active until Smokey showed up. And then I did Smokey's workout. And on the way out, that's when me and you had ran into each other. And you just, hey, you doing anything for diet? And
yeah, I started talking a mile a minute. And you're like, hey, carnivore diet. Yeah. Right? You know.
But you said, hey, if you're ever thinking about it, here's the War On Carbs. And you have
yeah,
any
I remember
questions?
that, yeah.
Let me know. And so I went home that night, read the entire book in one sitting.
The most ridiculous book ever. It's easy to read, but it's like so simple.
Right, which is
And
what
it
I needed
works.
at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't need the overcomplex.
The
why
War
I'm
on
doing
Carbs
it.
is $9.99. It completely can change your life because if you view it that way, like I don't think carbs are bad for anybody, but if you declare a war on carbs, you will lose weight. You will get lean. You will drop a lot of body fat. And if you just declare that war on carbs and say, I'm going to do a war on carbs and not eat a single gram of carbohydrates and not focus on anything else for the next 3 months, you will definitely lose weight. Is it the best way? Not necessarily. Are you going to keep it off? That's up to you. But if you need that jump start, something that simple, and a carnivore diet is very, very similar because it is a war on carbs.
Right. And that was one thing that was nice about it in the beginning. It was so simple. It was, okay, don't have carbs. And there are those hidden carbs and sauces and stuff like that. So when I go to eat things, first thing I look at in the label, how many carbs it have. And in the beginning, I allowed myself a grace period of 30 to 50 carbs. If I oopsied and had 20 carbs in a meal, okay, now I really got to watch it. It's simple as that. That's what, and that's not obviously for everyone. That's what I've noticed works for me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I will say the most frustrating part about it though was one thing that you had told me when I first started. Give it about 2 weeks. It usually takes about 2 weeks for it to really take effect. So in the beginning, because I'd already dropped about 20 pounds before I'd started, and when I started the diet, I was stuck right there. I was at an industrial weigh station because I couldn't get on a normal scale, and I was there every day. How much did I lose? I was standing in the middle of this empty building in my underwear, just trying to see that number drop. And it was you telling me give it about 2 weeks was like, okay, let's slow it down, wait the 2 weeks. And sure enough, it was like almost the same exact day I started, I think I dropped 5 pounds 2 weeks from that day. It was the craziest thing. And then after that, it was about a pound or two a week and a steady, constant flow. If I had more walks or more cardio-based stuff, maybe it was 5 pounds that week. So
you also did something that's really interesting, and I kind of like semi against it a little bit, but then I can see the reasonings why, and so I just let you do it all the time, was you would tell me, like, I have this goal. I need to get down to like 360 by next Monday. And I'm like, well, you don't really want to be doing weight cuts in the middle of like a weight loss program. But because I knew how determined you were, like you lost, I want to say you lost like 70 pounds in like 5 months or something, like in the beginning, right? So you really went on a tear.
Yeah.
And I think we had a conversation where I said, be careful, you may hit a wall. When you're losing weight that fast, did you ever hit a wall?
yes, I'm currently trying to break one as well right now. For some reason, the 340s are just sticking me. And I've broken them twice. Every time I do it, I go, yay, let's celebrate. So I break 340, and because I've had, well, I'm going to go back a little bit because the main reason why I started was at 450, I knew by July I had to get on a plane for 18 hours to go to Greece for my buddy's wedding. I did not want to be 450 sitting on a plane for 18 hours. So came in, and you had told me 90 pounds by that goal. So
I remember that was the original goal. You wanted to fit in like in like the seatbelt and stuff, right?
You told me that
on the plane, yeah.
Yeah, you told me that, and I went back to Charlie and I said, "Hey, this is what Chris said. I think he's out of his damn mind." And he goes, "Listen to it. You'll do it." And the week before I left, I went on a 48-hour fast because I was determined. I was 4 or 5 pounds away to lose that last little bit.
Yeah.
And so I just went on a fast. I actually worked that day, brought a scale with me to work so I can weigh myself like every hour, every 2 hours, whenever I could. It's
really controversial to say, but the body fat that we have on our bodies is fuel.
Yeah.
So it's like we have like I already have 1,000 candy bars strapped to me. Why do I need food? You know? And so it sounds cruel, but that's like the key into reducing your weight is we got to reduce what we intake. And so it just kind of makes sense over time. Like find a diet that helps you to eat less food over time.
Yeah, like I said, I went to Greece, had a blast, made the weight, and I was there and I started eating whatever I wanted to because that was my grace period. I had hit my big goal and I started eating whatever I want. I came back, I was like, I had to put on at least 20 pounds. I was the same exact weight I was when I left because I was walking around. I was eating good natural food.
How did it feel to go and fit on the plane and like fit in with your friends?
So even at 360, it's still a little
Still hard. It's still a little
still
tight.
a little big. But fortunately, my other 2 friends were aware of that.
Yeah.
And they kind of let me encroach in their seat a little bit. So it was still a little tight.
Let me
still
get this armrest.
Yeah, still getting bumped by the drink cart every time it'd go by.
Oh yeah, every time. I always get killed by that too.
Yeah. Well, I got the broad shoulders too. So even underneath, it's going to be a wide set.
I'm just a little guy compared to you, and I still get killed by that.
Yeah.
For some reason, they love to smash your elbow.
Yeah. But that was probably mentally the worst thing that could have happened to me. Because now I said, okay, I can eat whatever I want. I'm not putting anything back on.
But you can only do that for like a day or two.
Right.
And then it just and even the day or two will still mess you up pretty badly and sometimes.
And then I came back and I had probably about a 2-week stint where I was eating pizza, I was eating ice cream, anything I wanted. And I still wasn't putting on weight. And you had told me, be careful, because that might take a couple weeks.
It's a weird period of time, that celebratory time where you're like excited and happy and you're like, I'm going to eat whatever I want. And those couple days actually feel great. But after the couple days, maybe like 3rd, 4th day in, you start, when you know it's wrong.
Right.
It starts making you like, I don't know. For me, I would feel like guilty and I'd feel shitty. And I've done this recently. I did 3 months of carnivore and then I cheated and I ate like 2 boxes of Oreos in one day. And that's when I said, like, this is disgusting. Like, I have a binging problem. And I know Lane Norton does a lot of great work talking about like binging and stuff like that. And I like to listen to everybody, and rather to say what somebody's saying like isn't exactly right or whatever doesn't make any sense when you have people telling you, hey, if you don't eat, if you, like his words on fat, like if you don't eat, you're going to be hungry later, so be careful because you might binge like crazy. Well, that's what I was doing, right? And I'm not, you can't deny that. That's what happens when you deprive yourself. So like for me, even intermittent fasting now has gotten dangerous to where that's going to lead to something bad later on.
Yeah. And so I was eating everything I wanted, found that, refocused again, and then I dropped that 20 pounds to the 340. And the first time I hit it, I said, okay, that was my short-term goal. I celebrated last time I hit a goal. Let's celebrate again.
What's that celebration? You mean eating
Yeah.
like, eating trash?
Go get that pizza that you've been craving for the last 2 weeks.
You run back to the monster that got you there.
Exactly.
It's absolutely wild. You run back to what got you there.
100%.
And I've come to the conclusion it's because you have momentarily left the same state of desperation that got you to make the change.
Yeah, you need that desperation. So,
well, I don't mean to interrupt you, but maybe desperation might start it, but you, in being a guy that's yo-yoing this thing, maybe you need that desperation to start, but at some point you can no longer, you have to transition to inspiration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because if you keep
well, I get complacent.
Well,
you know, as soon as something goes good, I get complacent, and that's so easy to feel. I feel like the desperation's almost needed to keep you going every day. You know?
I mean, possibly, right? But when I keep getting this analogy of like you see a you know, maybe you don't hit rock bottom, but you see this cliff and you're sliding to the cliff. You keep sliding to this cliff and you go, oh my God, dude, I am going to fall and break my neck, right? And so you start scooting back, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, look how far I am away from the cliff again. And then you relax, and then you start sliding back to the cliff. Like, there needs to be this transition where you stop looking at what's behind you, and you have to start looking at what's ahead of you. Like, if you don't find that future motivation... I know this is all sort of like, this paradigm and example can be twisted any way you want. I'm just saying, like, what you're saying is been the story of my life the last 5 years. And every time, and I've tried having talks with you, every time I have some sense of accomplishment in my own head, it's like I'm lit, a light switch goes off, and then I just start fucking up again.
Yeah.
It's insanity. And it's the same insanity I keep finding myself
when I
just
talked about cheating with 2 boxes of Oreos, that was for 6 months I was working on trying to see my abs again. And the day I walked in the gym and Kenny, who's a bodybuilder, said to me, dude, your abs look sick. I was like, yes. And then I went home and ate 2 boxes of Oreos. Like that was the day before.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That is exactly what, instead of going, holy shit, I'm seeing my abs, let me see if I can actually get a cut 6-pack.
And to be honest, I'm doing all this for pain relief, right? So that was literally put me back in pain. Like I know that the next like 3 or 4 days, actually even like the next week after I did that, my joints just felt really, really bad. Is it because of that? I don't know, but I didn't do anything else, and I probably just, would attribute it to that.
Yeah. Because speaking about what you were talking about of like, feel like you're falling off a cliff, that's been my motivation. This next big push is that about a month ago, I started to feel that depression coming back, and I'm like, I do not want to feel like that again. That was horrible.
What's the next big push? Is it for 2023? Like you got a New Year's resolution or anything?
So I do plan to compete again in September in that area. We're checking out comps right now.
Did you ever do powerlifting before you met us or anything?
Nope.
Because you're pretty damn good at that too. So like what a lot of people probably don't know about you is that you can do a full squat with your heels on the ground, ass to grass at 350 pounds, which is just like really impressive. And you're pretty strong for just getting into this. Like what are some of your, didn't you bench a lot? What'd you bench?
Bench was 380.
Deadlift, 380, sick.
Yeah, deadlift was 568, and then my squat, which is my weakest point, and I know I got a lot of work on it.
We won't talk about it. That's not bad, actually.
Yeah, but
it's over 400 pounds.
I mean, it's only like 20 pounds away from my bench.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a little pathetic.
Yeah, you just work on it though.
Yeah, but no, there's so many great guys that know what I need.
Honestly, I think for you, one of the things to do with you, and I should even talk to Mark about it, but like we should get you to train the squat out. Like you're a big dude and you can squat great.
Yeah.
Like you might have the potential to really squat a lot of weight, but you just have to like focus on it and learn from someone like Mark who has the knowledge to get you there. But all the other guys like Smokey and John, like they know too.
Yeah.
But I think if we kind of turned you into a squatter, we can crank that thing up. If it's something you want to do, obviously.
I do.
I'm not going to be whipping you and be like, get on the squat rack. But I see how like beautiful your squat is. It sounds weird. And I'm always jealous. I come up to the gym going, damn, I wish I could just drop down like that. It's incredible. I want to know what your 5 go-to things are. Like what are your 5 staples on your specific diet that you've been doing of like pretty much a low-carb diet is what we'll call it, right? So
if I have the time and I've got the resources, the perfect day for me would be wake up, 5 to 6 eggs. If I still have steak from the night before, slice it up, throw it in the eggs as well. Either top it with some hot sauce or some ketchup, because I'm a big ketchup on eggs guy.
You use some sugar-free ketchup?
Yes, and I think they add.
I was almost afraid to ask because I thought I was going to get the wrong answer. I'm like, come on, bro.
No. I always make sure I get the sugar-free, and I kind of like it a little bit better. It's like they add a little bit more vinegar to it or something.
Which one do you get, Heinz?
I get the Heinz, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I like the Heinz. I also really like the G. Hughes. At first, I hated it because it didn't necessarily taste like ketchup. But now I think whatever concoction they made is better than ketchup.
Yeah.
So it's like I ended up really liking it. The only thing I don't 57. Like is it doesn't have the squeeze bottle. You got to have the squeeze bottle.
Yeah.
So the Heinz has the squeeze.
Yeah. So, the 5 or 6 eggs. And I usually throw about 3.5 slices of the Deluxe American on top and melt that on.
The best cheese on the planet is Boar's Head White American.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Just like the cocktail weenies, Boar's Head, they're up on what they make. Everything from Boar's Head, they sell it at Nugget. I don't know if you have a Nugget in your area.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. You got to check it out.
Okay.
Even like go in and go to the deli at Nugget and get Boar's Head bologna and Boar's Head cheese and whatever other cold cuts. But I'm telling you, the bologna, it's so good that I always thought bologna was like a poor person thing, like because everybody always make fun of it. And when you have good bologna, it's actually incredible.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out because there's a chef and I can't remember his name, but he's a big guy tattooed up.
Yeah,
he was talking about his.
Is it Matty?
I believe so, yeah.
The big guy.
Yeah.
He's amazing, yeah.
He was
Matty Matherson, is that his name?
No, I'll look him up. I'm not familiar with him.
He was talking about when he was dating this girl a while back, her mom would make them this bologna bowl, and she would basically put a couple pieces of bologna in a bowl, crack an egg in it, and then just microwave it.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, I should try that. But I never had bologna in the house, so never had a chance to. Because the bologna will get nice and crispy around the outside.
Well, the other thing you could do is you could do what I said with the chaffles.
Yeah.
And you could actually throw like lunch meat on top of that too, and like you could make it into a sandwich, like almost like a sandwich bread.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna make a big chaffle like sandwich and put some meat in the middle, because that would actually be great. Like the cheese would melt on top of it, and it would be crispy.
Yep.
So
that's
we're gonna
him.
try to make a masterpiece. Yeah, Matty Matheson. That guy is amazing. I love that guy. It reminds me of my buddy Wayne. My buddy Wayne kind of looks like this guy. What was he doing? That were you saying?
The bologna
The
bowl.
bologna bowl. Yeah, yeah. Awesome, man. Well, is there anything else that you think people should know on their weight loss journey? I think that we covered kind of a lot of things, but if there's anything specific you think people should know along the way, or like inspiration you want to give.
The number one thing, reach out, ask people. You'll be surprised at how much love and support is going to be out there for you. That's one thing that I thought initially from the start when I first ran into Charlie, is that, okay, this is going to be mostly me. He might chime in a little bit, but he has become like a father, a brother, a best friend that I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah.
And then with you as well, having that opportunity to be able to reach out and knowing that you'll always have an answer.
I also think like you don't reach out like that often, and so like I feel like the people that are good on their own they're good, man. Like if you're like the way that you were with you, I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to constantly badger you. I didn't have to be like, hey, bro, you sticking to it? Like, I know you're sticking to it. So it's like with certain people, you just know, like, okay, he's going at it.
Yeah.
And what I think was also interesting is like you had this warrior mindset. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show everybody I can do this kind of thing. And I think that's important too.
And I felt bad in the beginning, so I was like, I don't want to bother him, but I really need this answer. So I felt like I was really annoying to you, to Charlie, and to a few other people. But to be a little selfish, it's kind of what I needed.
Yeah.
And the other big thing is invest in the kitchen. That's been the number one thing for this.
What have you
diet.
invested in the kitchen? What are the things you use?
The Ninja Foodie is amazing because I'll cook steaks in it now.
Yeah, Ninja Foodie Grill, which, by the way, I should have had a sponsorship a long time ago because I had sold so many of those things.
Yeah. No, that thing is great because it's got like a high rack, and depending on the thickness of the steak, I'll preheat it. I know you don't have to, but I'll usually do about 5 minutes on broil. And then I'll broil one side for 5 to 7 minutes, depending on the steak thickness. Turn it over, same amount of time, pull it out and wrap it in foil for 20. It is like the perfectly cooked steak if you like medium rare.
Yeah.
Every single time, and it's consistent.
What other tools you have in the kitchen? Probably a Ninja blender. I think that's important, right? Or
I bought the Ninja blender,
or
so
a good blender at least.
So I could make the chaffles, which one thing I want to do is kind of incorporate the two and make some panko fried chicken and chaffles.
Oh yeah, I've done that.
Is it worth it? Worth the time?
Kind of, you know. I think what you have to do at the end, so here's my mistake. I think what you need to do for chicken and waffles that taste really good is at the end, you just take out the scissors, because, you know, Mark and I are big on scissors. Yeah. By the way, if you don't have scissors in your kitchen and use them all the time, then you're really missing out. So you get the tongs and you hold the chicken breast and chop it up into a bunch of little pieces, and then chop the chaffles up into a bunch of little pieces. Mix that all around with a little syrup, and that shit'll be bomb.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, when you make this big, you're sitting there trying to, like, it's very annoying, but if you make it convenient to eat. The other thing I made yesterday is I made one of the best steaks. Like, I seared a steak in my Gemelli grill, which goes up to 1,560 degrees.
Yeah.
Sits right on your countertop and can sear a steak like a steakhouse.
Yeah.
So I did that. I chopped up the steak, and I took an avocado and I mushed it all up, and I whipped all that together with like steak and avocado, and it was so damn good.
Huh.
Like, things like that just make me be able to eat more. You know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. One of the other big, I should have mentioned it earlier, the other big person that probably doesn't even know that I follow him because I'm so quiet on Instagram is Dr. Sean Baker.
Yeah.
Is like, I had so many questions in the beginning because I'm more...
Happy birthday, by the way. Sean Baker just had his 56th birthday. Celebrated it with a steak, he said, on Instagram.
Yeah. But, no, because there was a lot of questions because I don't want to just... Once I got past that honeymoon stage with carnivore and War on Carbs, it was, okay, well, why am I doing this? Like, what supplements should I be focusing on? And so a lot of times I could just look up the question, and he's like one of the first names that pops up. And I'm like, okay, well, I know Chris talks in high regards of him. So
Yeah.
I'll go check it out and see what he has to say about it.
Yeah, I honestly, the reason I wanted to have you on here is I love you, man. I just wanted to commend you for doing such a great job.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we'll get in the gym. We'll do some lifting. We got to, get out of here and go get some training in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See you guys later.